So what felt like after 20 minutes of getting ready and getting out the door, I am finally starting this walk. Learned a fun fact about this Osmo mobile gimbal. It stays on whatever the last setting was. So I was previously taking a time-lapse video, and when I turned this on, I thought I could just plug and play, and I ended up taking another time-lapse video. So that whole first sequence, which I'll show you in about half a second, is not quite what I wanted. But that's okay, live and learn. That's why I'm testing it out. The review on this product, I'm really hoping to get out to you guys next. That's the next video I have planned, but I really wanted to test it out, get a real good feeling for basically how it works, all the ins and outs, and test it for at least a month before coming out with some sort of review. So that way I feel like I can speak to it. It's not just a first impressions video for a piece of equipment like this where there's a lot going on. I wanted to make sure I understood everything that I could. So currently I am walking Scarlett right there. We're going up to the high school real quick. I'm gonna get a few drone shots, fly around up there. I've got some ideas for an upcoming video. It's gonna be a ways out, but you'll know it when you see it. Got a few drone shots I wanna snag up at the high school. So we're gonna walk up there because it's just such a nice day. It's really warm. I'm probably sweating, but that's okay. It's just so nice out. Man, I'm just watching myself walking on the screen. I'm really loving this gimbal. But I think I'm gonna put it down for a few minutes because walking and pushing a stroller and trying to record a video is much more difficult than I had expected. So let's cut to the high school. All right, so now that we got a little bit of a stretch of shade, vlogging might be a little bit easier. So the other reason that we're walking up to the high school, which is a lot further of a walk than I remember, man. The other reason I wanted to walk up to the high school is to test out this new Peak Design backpack. Y'all saw it in the last video that I made. I unboxed it, said I was gonna mess around with it before doing any sort of what's in my bag review. A lot of things are still shut down here in Michigan. I don't leave the house as much. So while I've brought this backpack with me, it stays in the car. I haven't had to walk around with it, to carry it, to see how comfortable it is. I haven't really been in and out of it, grabbing a camera, trying to get the drone, get things out of my tech bag. I haven't had that experience yet. So that's what this video is serving as well. Just testing out the backpack. All right, finally made it. Boy, I am sweating and I'm just here. I still have to walk home. There was a massive running club hanging out right where I wanted to shoot. So I was afraid I was gonna get the, not be able to get the shots I wanted. But I guess that's the point of a running club. They don't stick around for very long. Ooh, what are they doing here? Man, this was not planned well. Let me take a look. So it looks like they're redoing the field. Yeah, definitely redoing the field. Not what I was hoping to see, but hey, sometimes you just gotta make it happen. So that was a lot of fun. I apologize if this video is a lot more shaky. For one, it'll be a good indication of how well the gimbal works, but for two, the gimbal got put back in the backpack because I've got my camera out now. And pushing a stroller, I really only have hands for one thing. Another disadvantage of vlogging on a phone instead of actually having a camera. So while I was over there, I had a pretty interesting encounter. I mentioned that there was like a running club going on, so I didn't want to, they were standing right where I was hoping to take off, and I really didn't want to interrupt them. I felt like that would have been really rude for me to just waltz up there, me, my stroller, my drone, and just lift off right when they're trying to take off. I didn't want to do that. I didn't know what club it was. I didn't know who was organizing it. So I kind of waited around and waited for them to all take off. And once they did, that's when I kind of flew around, got some shots, got the footage I wanted. But as soon as I took off, the person that was organizing the event started coming up, and he just walked right up. I was up the stairs, walked right up, started asking me about the drone, what I was using it for, you know, what kind of drone it was, just a lot of general questions. And I was honestly very nervous about that, very scared to have that kind of conversation with somebody, because I mean, I understand that with the rise of things like TikTok and just Snapchat, social media in general, people walking around recording themselves talk to their cell phone, talk to a camera, it's probably more acceptable. That being said, it's still not something you see every day. I don't think I've ever seen another person in my town walking around talking to a camera. I just haven't. Then, as soon as I packed up and started walking away, one of the runners that had come back in the meantime stopped me to talk to me as well, because I have a fire department shirt on. So that caught his attention. He was asking me, you know, just what I was doing, and I just struck up a real casual conversation. And I mean, just nice. It's one of those things that I think a lot of people are a little bit nervous of, to be walking around talking to a cell phone, wondering what other people might think. And by no means am I getting in front of my camera and saying that I've completely overcome that fear, because I haven't. I have not overcome the fear of being stared at by people. But you just have to. The only way to overcome that issue, the only way to be less self-conscious about what's going on, is to just practice. Put yourself in situations that might be a little bit awkward. Today was actually one of the very first encounters I had like that, where I was trying to get some footage and film, and there were people around who actually not only saw what I was doing, because I'm sure people look and stare whenever I'm doing something like this and I don't see it, but not only did they stop and look at what I was doing and watch me fly the drone, but they actually came up to talk to me. And that's the first time anyone's done that. And it was a good encounter to have, because if they're willing to come up and talk to you, chances are they're just plain curious about what you've got going on, what you're doing. That's it. Just curiosity. The guy I was talking to when I was flying the drone, he was actually asking me a bunch of questions about the drone because he wants one. He thinks drones are cool, so I got to tell him all about the Mavic Mini and explain why I love it so much. So that was cool. It was a nice encounter. It was a nice conversation. And I guess I had no plan. I had no idea what this video was going to be about today. But I'll leave it off with this. There's a legitimate fear when you're doing vlogging. There's a legitimate fear of being judged, being stared at, people questioning you. But that's mostly an irrational fear. Again, I'm not saying I've overcome it. I guarantee you, if the same thing were to happen to me in a couple of days, I would be just as scared. But having this encounter, having this under my belt, definitely helped me. It helped me realize that if I ever get nervous again, if I ever get scared about what people might think of me, to just remember that encounter. And just know, people don't really care. People don't care if you're a vlogger, if you're trying to upload YouTube videos. Another way to look at it is if people are actually going to take the time to walk up to you, ask you what you're doing, ask you about your camera, your equipment, whatever the case might be, take it as a networking opportunity. Tell them about what you do. It's just going to help your channel. It's going to help whatever you're doing, your content, your brand, your company. See it as an opportunity. I'm speaking to myself first on that. I've come across about 4 different encounters since I started talking where I got a little bit nervous, but you just got to push through. So enjoy the rest of your day. Do not be afraid of what other people think to produce the content you want to create. You're always going to come up with obstacles. Have fun with it and create what you want. So with that, you guys, I'm going to drop this off because I'm hot. I got to get home. And if you can't hear, the baby's starting to cry. So until next time, you guys, remember, we're all in progress. Have a great day. Oh my word. We are home. Let me get in the house here. Hi, dogs. Oh, I'm home. I am completely covered in sweat. Oh my word. That was way hotter than I thought. So we're gonna test this Peak Design bag out. My first unofficial test on this Peak Design bag. And that is, can it keep my gear dry? Not because we got caught in the rain. I wish that were the case as to why I'm so wet. But because I'm so sweaty, is my gear still dry? Let's check it out. First off, taking a look at this cuff here, flip that off. You can definitely see that got nice and sweaty. Let's open up the backpack. Flip it open and let's check out the contents. Camera's nice and dry. The Mavic, I don't see anything wrong with it. What about my gimbal? No, that's nice and dry too. Feel on the inside. Ooh, it is completely dry. Even the back. I mean, this is really gross. This is nice and, that's wet. That is just straight up wet. But here, this is completely dry. Yeah, I can feel on the back side. That's completely dry. Wow, I am impressed. I'm very impressed. That's very nice. Well done, Peak Design. Well done.